Welcome to the Sports Arena, your front row ticket to the best in sports talk and entertainment. Great analysis, top-name guests, and news you can use from the sports landscape. So, take your seats, sit back, and relax, as you are now in the Sports Arena.
You know what you're capable of. Fix it.
And here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Wins. I'm like, all right, let's go. We get losses. I'm like, I need a minute. Let me collect myself.
What is going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson in for the Sports Arena. Yes, on a Thursday night, and a huge thank you to everybody tuning in this evening as we have what I like to call sometimes those conversations that people don't want to talk about. We're going to have one of them conversations tonight. We're going to talk about it. Now, it is truly for me and the man joining me here this evening, which personal shout out. I'm glad he's back because I ain't seen him in a minute, but I know this is going to be a good one. The first time the sports reporter without pay, the one and only, Mr. Ray Lynn, arguably one of the best to ever debate in the sports world, and we spoke about a WNBA topic. And we spoke about how 25 years the league had been around, but yet the amenities, the accommodations were not up to the level that they should be. And him and I, of course, do what we do. But now, 3 years later, because of the success of Caitlin Clark, what she has done on the college level has truly brought the WNBA to a level that I feel is finally beginning to receive what they so rightfully deserve. Now, I have to give shout outs. Well, first off, I'm sorry. Let me do this. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome him back into the arena. My man, the one, the only, Mr. Ray Lynn, the sports reporter without pay, is in the building. What's good, son?
What's good, man?
It's been a minute, man. How you doing? How is everybody?
Bro, I can't complain at all, man. I cannot complain at all. We back. We in the building. Right where we started. Talking WNBA one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Like, full circle, bro. Full circle,
this is
man.
Truly a full circle. So we ain't going to waste no time. Let's just get right down to it. And I got to give a lot of love to Raphael Hines and the three-point conversion for posting what he posted with regard to A'ja Wilson speaking on what she is calling the elephant in the room. Now, let me share my screen so people can see for those who, or actually, you know what? I'll do you one better because this is simply what I do. A'ja Wilson was on Major Prep Sports, okay? And with the Associated Press, she spoke about the elephant. And here's what she said. She said, I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me it is. It really is because you can be top notch at what you are as a black woman, but yet maybe there's something that people don't want to see. They don't see it as marketable. So it doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter what we all do as black women. We're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because, as according to A'ja Wilson, it is. So, of course, when this came out, and again, thank you to Raphael Hines and three-point conversion for doing this, all the comments started flooding. But as you know me, I'm not a keyboard warrior. That's just not my thing. Never has been, never will be. But when I saw what you said, Ray, and you said, I disagree wholeheartedly, I said to myself, oh, here we go. And then you added, I would love to have this conversation live. That wasn't the one that got me. The comment that got me was this. Ray said, I'm over-wasted good sports talk in comment sections. Ray, to me, that was the black hat up in Alabama being thrown saying, it's time we do this. So I made the call. The brother is here. So let's just get right into it. You disagree with what A'ja Wilson is saying. So I got to ask you point blank, why?
Well, let's backtrack. Let's start with my comment of I'm done wasting good content in the comments. I have you to thank for that. I really do. There's a lot of times, man, in that sports arena, Facebook Messenger chat where we get to going back and forth and like, y'all wasting this. Or even in the other chat, man, with all the brothers who had went down to the symposium, we get to arguing about something like, y'all wasting this. Y'all wasting what could be content, right? Like, with no disrespect to anybody else who does this, man, I'm too talented to be wasting my time in comments with people. Like,
he finally gets it. He finally gets it.
And I'm serious. Like, I'll give people conversation, but once it reaches a certain point, it's like, I'm not finna sit there and type because when I do it, I'm gonna research, I'm gonna give thought-provoking stuff. I'm gonna be like a lot of people just be trolling. So it's like, if I'm gonna waste my time in a comment section with people, I could make content out of it. You get what I'm saying? Like, it could be something, it could not be something. So that's a tribute to you. Why do I disagree, man? First off, I made this statement on another post that our people, I think, oftentimes misuse the quote unquote race card, right? And I believe a lot of times it's warranted, right? We've had these conversations like black coaches, black quarterbacks, black general managers, right? These are real conversations. These are real things that when you look at them, you go, that don't make sense, right? How's 90% of the league black, but only 12 of the coach, stuff like that. That don't make sense. But in this particular situation, I don't think it's warranted at all. This is about talent. This is about talent. This is about popularity. This is about marketability. We talking about a woman who we all just witnessed do things we never saw. She did things we never saw. That's what it boiled down to, right? Like, A'ja Wilson, for as great as she is, right? She's sitting on the throne right now. Every WNBA conversation we've had, myself, you, Megan, Michael Cartenuto, John Shearer, Tyree, right? We've always said, man, the thing wrong with the WNBA is they lacking a face, right? Every other year, somebody else is the new best player, right? We've had this conversation. If this was about a race thing, right? There was a time Diana Taurasi was the best player in the WNBA. She didn't get this kind of hype. There was a time Elena Delle Donne was the best player. She didn't get this kind of hype. There was a time Breanna Stewart was the best player. She didn't get this kind of hype. Caitlin Clark ain't played a game yet. This ain't about race. This because she's super talented, man. Like, she's super talented, and her popularity grew to unbelievable level in the WNBA, and everybody, for that matter, went, "Oh, we got to maximize on this. It's an opportunity." The WNBA is doing exactly what we said they need to do. Find somebody to market as the face. It happens to be her, right? As great as A'ja Wilson is, as great as she's been for the past 2 years, it ain't helped the ratings. It ain't helped the ratings, right? Okay. And while she was great, Breanna Stewart was being great. Sabrina Ionescu was being great, right? People not of color. It wasn't about color. It's like, and I have so much more to say about Caitlin Clark, but I'll compare it to this, man. Because in one of the comment sections in the post, somebody said to me, they said, when have you ever seen the headline be about the person that lost? They was referring to South Carolina winning the national championship, and the headline not being that South Carolina won, but the headline being that Caitlin Clark lost. And my response was, all the time. All the time. This is how sports work. And I'll liken it to Tiger Woods. You know how, like, back in the day, I'm saying back in the day when he was actually playing, still now.
Yes. Yeah.
It could be the Masters or whatever, and they'll show the top 10, top 15 people in the standings, right? No matter where Tiger Woods is at, when Tiger Woods was the man, when he was that guy, Tiger Woods could be in 75th. It's going to show the top 20, then right after that, it's going to say Tiger Woods currently in 75th. You know why they do that? Because the whole world wants to know what Tiger Woods is doing. If it's a race and Usain Bolt didn't win, we want to know where he finished. If Michael Phelps is swimming and he doesn't win, we want to know where he finished. If it's the U.S. Open and Serena didn't win, where did she finish and who beat her? That's sports for you, right? It's been happening. You can use LeBron James as an example. When athletes are popular, people care about those athletes, what they did, how they finished, and what happened. So there was not a single person on South Carolina this year that you could kind of pinpoint that person as a face and that type of popularity and have that type of cachet where you can go, if they lost, you go, Cardozo lost. Nobody would have cared. Dawn Staley would have been a bigger headline as losing. That's the face of South Carolina. Caitlin Clark became the face of women's basketball. Yeah, people cared that she lost because that's why people tuned in. That's why every game she played was the highest rated game. Not because she white, because she was balling. She was doing things we never seen, man. I'll talk for. I've been talking for a minute. I know you want to chime in, so yeah.
I'm just going to run down because, like you, when these topics come up, I have to do my research. Number one, because I know who I'm talking to, and number two, y'all know my love for the W. So I completely understand and recognize what you are saying. However, this is what I'm gonna come back at you with, and I'm gonna use a man who we have talked about with regard to the NFL over the last 5 years. What do we say about Patrick Mahomes? His basement is the AFC Championship game. He is 3-1 in Super Bowls. He's been an MVP. So the level of expectation with a Patrick Mahomes is something that we just naturally associate with to say, oh, Kansas City Chiefs are going to be there. So let me run down a couple of things for you, sir. And first off, we're talking about a young woman at 27 years of age from Columbia, South Carolina, who went to South Carolina, by the way, from 2014 to 2018. Okay. And she played there. She was consistent throughout, shooting an average of about 55% all 4 years of being there. She was averaging in rebounds about 8 rebounds total for her career, at least 1.5 assists, at least 1 steal a game. And this is her average while she was at South Carolina. Now let's transition to the W. Currently, as she stands right now, entering this 2024 season, A'ja Wilson is 4th in WNBA history for points per game, 6th in rebounds, 4th in defensive rebounds, 5th in blocks. She is a 2-time WNBA champion. She also, along with Caitlin Clark, is a number 1 draft pick, 5-time WNBA All-Star, Olympic gold winner. She is an 8-time WNBA Western Conference Player of the Month, a 16-time WNBA Western Conference Player of the Week, a WNBA Finals MVP. Oh, she was part of Time's Most Influential People this year in 2024, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, a 2-time WNBA MVP, a 2-time All-WNBA First Team, and owns the WNBA career single game record of 53 points. Okay? So again, we talk about how is she not marketable, or is this not a race thing? I just gave you her resume just within the W, plus what she did at South Carolina. And you mean to tell me there aren't businesses out there, there aren't organizations out there, there aren't investors out there who would take a look and say, this woman has been consistent from college to the pro. We haven't heard of A'ja Wilson getting into any trouble at all off the court. She has been a dominant force on the court, is currently looking to be a team that goes back to back to back and three-peat. Because I'm sure if I ask you right now, Ray, are you taking the Las Vegas Aces or are you taking one of the other 11 teams to win the championship this year? I'm willing to bet you going to say, I'm going to take Becky Hammon, I'm going to take Kelsey Plum, I'm going to take Chelsea Gray, who's not playing right now, and I'm going to take A'ja Wilson. That's just my thing. I might be wrong on that. But to say that this woman is not marketable after giving you everything, that begs me to ask the question then. So then what's the problem? Because she has achieved everything. It's not like she just got off the bus. She has brought the game. And this is the thing that really kind of irritates me about this whole situation, is because I have said this. Others have said this. Black women, our community, I'll put it to you like this, and I have said this numerous times, and I'll speak for myself when I say this. I'm tired of being twice as good for half the money. There is something wrong when businesses and organizations and investors don't see the commitment that this young woman at 27 years old has put into her craft. And you're absolutely right, because you said this when we first did this conversation. Yes, it is for entertainment, and she gets this money to play a game. I get all of that. But in a world where we are supposed to, and again, I know you're going to come at me with this one, and I'm fully prepared for it. we're trying to be inclusive more of women, but yet A'ja Wilson, who has done everything that I have listed, had to be, she was, I know I say these words and I know you're going to come at me with them, but A'ja Wilson in her career didn't get a shoe deal. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, who is someone that, yes, everybody is watching, everybody's hitching their wagon to, because she is the nice, new, shiny toy that everybody wants to be around and associated with. Do you know the Indiana Fever tonight, which, by the way, they lost to the New York Liberty and lost in a big way to the New York Liberty? The Indiana Fever haven't seen that many people in attendance, I don't think, ever. We're talking about a team that over the last 5 years, I don't think has a combined 50 wins. That's why they keep getting the number one picks of the world. Think about it like this. You had Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu. You had 4 number ones on the court tonight, and there might have been more. I know those 4. 2 to New York and 2 to Indiana. But Indiana's last 2 are Caitlin Clark. So my thing is, I still cannot wrap my head around the fact that what else is there? Because her resume speaks for itself. Or have we put A'ja Wilson in the, well, we just expect that out of her? And if you're going to keep expecting that out of her, well, then, damn it, put something in her and invest in her. I continually go back to that. But now the world is going to go in the Caitlin Clark direction.
I don't like, so, okay, so you read me A'ja Wilson's resume, right? And I'd say it's pretty solid.
Pretty solid? Right, she's been in the league since 2018. In 6 years, she's accomplished all of that.
Okay.
In 6 years. Mahomes has done the same in 5.
Wait, do you know there's a lady that just retired? Play for your Chicago Sky.
Just retired?
Yeah. She just won a championship with them 2 years ago. Then she just won a championship last year in Vegas too.
Yeah, Candace Parker. Yep.
Yeah.
Candace Parker.
You know when Candace Parker won her first MVP?
Her first year in the league?
As a rookie.
Yeah.
As a rookie.
Yeah.
Then won another one and got a defensive player of the year, right? We talking about a 2-time MVP, a 3-time champ, 7-time all-star, like the whole 9, right? There's another lady in the league right now who's a 2-time MVP, a rookie of the year, been WNBA first team the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So for her career, she's 6-time all WNBA, right? Why ain't nobody crying about Breanna Stewart? Because it's a race thing, right? A'ja Wilson is low-hanging fruit. And she came out and said it, but she sounds stupid if you're telling the truth, because the same case that she has as, well, why are y'all putting all this stock into her when I've done this? Breanna Stewart can say the same thing. She's done everything A'ja Wilson done, with the exception of winning the Defensive Player of the Year, right? She a 2-time WNBA champ. She a 2-time WNBA MVP. She get buckets. She all WNBA first team every year. She wanted... Breanna Stewart could say, and her college resume trump everybody's.
Listen, no argument from me. 4.
She white though, right? She white. Right. So if the same argument that A'ja Wilson is making of, well, why are we putting her up on this pedestal, right? Breanna Stewart could say the same thing. The only difference is Breanna Stewart can't say it is, oh, y'all doing it because I'm this color and she's that color, because they're the same color. Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Elena Delle Donne, they are living proof. Diana Taurasi, who many consider the GOAT, ain't never got this kind of publicity. It ain't about the color of her skin. Diana Taurasi was a dog in college, right? Because first off, that's what we have to remember. We running off WNBA resumes. Caitlin Clark ain't played a game in the WNBA, which tells us this ain't about the WNBA.
She's played 2 and she's 0-2.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but this all the hype all the publicity was happening before she played a game. Before she was drafted, word on the street was a team was moving their game to a big arena because it was going to sell out because Caitlin Clark was playing.
4 teams did it. 4 teams moved.
Right.
Washington, Seattle.
So, Eric, have you ever, for real, like, have you ever like been like, man, I'm going to go watch this game because the person with 3 MVPs is playing? No. You watch because you want to watch. It's something you want to see. Sometimes athletes take the world by storm. Via Steph Curry at Davidson, when somebody from an unknown school does the unthinkable. You know how many times Iowa won 30 games? Twice, both years with Caitlin Clark. You know how many people in the history of the game, in the history of, like, and that's the thing. We're not really acknowledging that she was really just doing stuff that we didn't think was possible, right? Like, think back to Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, right? And everybody went, well, baseball knew they was cheating, but the ratings was up. Why? Because they were chasing history, right? They were chasing history. About game 60, 65 through the season in 2017, the whole world went, Russ might really average this triple-double. It became something to watch for. Middle of 2016, we all went, yo, is Golden State really going to win 73? We as sports fans, we as sports junkies are enamored with history. We're enamored with seeing things that we never seen before. That's why the dunk contests get boring. Once you've seen a dunk 2 times, it's not exciting anymore. If somebody would have put their arm in the rim, it wouldn't matter to us. When Vince did it, we never saw it before. You have to see something you never seen before to excite you. Caitlin Clark, something we never seen before. If people want to dissect her game and go, well, all she do is this. Well, she's not good at that. Well, she can't. I don't care how you put it. She just averaged almost 32 a game. Good for the second highest single season. And like, what we doing here? She's the #1 all-time leading scorer. By the way, top 5 in assists. I think she's second or third all-time in points per game for her career. Second in assists per game. That's the part nobody even talking about. She on some LeBron James stuff, bro. We talking about a college athlete who went to a school that ain't never been known for basketball. Where do all the good women players go? They go to UConn.
Connecticut.
And as of lately,
Tennessee,
Baylor's in that
LSU.
Conversation. Right? Yeah. LSU's now, like with Kim Mulkey there, they jumped into that conversation.
South Carolina. No,
listen,
I get it.
For a 20-year span, like if you look at the WNBA and go name all the great players in the WNBA, they all went to UConn.
The majority of them.
Diana Taurasi, Rebecca Lobo, like the greats, man. Like Gino was in and out.
Oh yeah, Gino. Yeah,
Stewart, right?
The argument can be made that between Gino and Pat Summitt, they were just breeding WNBA players that were going. Right. So it was basically you hear it's like what Nick Saban did at Alabama. I understand what you're saying. Right. However, it's again, I go back to, and we'll just take the last 5 years. We'll just take that time frame, okay? Because as I've always said, if this was 2019, we would not be having this conversation. All right? But COVID happened, the pandemic happened, and I myself got immersed into the W so much so that, as I told you when we first did this, I feel it is my job, my responsibility, my obligation, and my duty to always promote this and what is going on. So when a situation or when an interview like this comes up, I have to at least address it and say, well, what is making A'ja say this? So I go back and I look, and to all of your points, you're absolutely right. I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you. What Caitlin Clark did, we as a world, we've never seen a young woman just set the college women's basketball world on fire. Okay? But when we're talking about she was still in college, the WNBA is now a business. All the businesses just said, well, we're going to hitch ourselves to her because we know where she's going next. She's capitalizing on this, and good for her. The W, Commissioner Engelbert, they're capitalizing on this. ESPN is capitalizing on this. Do you know this? ESPN has the Indiana Fever televised for 9 out of the 40 games this year. Las Vegas Aces got 6 games on ESPN. Now, yes, you have your NBA TV, you have your CBS, Ion TV. Just saw them on Amazon Prime. You got the ABC, and you got the WNBA League Pass. So there are different streams in order to see these games. But 9 out of 40, You're talking almost 25% of their schedule is prime time. The W made sure they made sure that ESPN was like, "Yep, how many games she won? We're gonna put them on." I'm just like, I just what bothers me. What bothers me is if the Vegas Aces had just won one championship, then I'd be like, okay, you know, they get, of course, they'll get some primetime matchups, but that's it. But again, Caitlin just got here. And we're already anointing her. And that's the problem that I have with it.
But why is it a problem? This has been like this in the history reports.
But
they was calling LeBron James the chosen one before he ever played a basketball game. Before Wemby played a basketball game, they were saying he was a generational talent. He was going to be great. Zion got the same kind of hype when he was in high school. Before Zion went to Duke, like Zion, OJ Mayo got the same kind of plug in high school. It's about talent and popularity, man. And again, it's because she was doing something we never seen. Like you ran off Asia Wilson stats from college. Even if they're great, I was about to call them mediocre. They're not mediocre, but it's just run-of-the-mill stuff we've seen. Like, you look at Asia Wilson stats. It's not nothing you never seen before. We saw Lena Delle Donne do that in college. We saw her getting 25 a night, right? We've seen Breonna Stewart getting buckets in college. We've seen Candace Parker in college. We've seen Shamika Holsclaw in college. We've seen Diana Taurasi. We've seen Maya Moore. We've seen all these women rip through the college ranks, and none of them did what we saw her doing this year. None of them. And then she did it in an entertaining way. It was on some old female Steph Curry stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was fun to watch.
Again.
Markability. A perfect example. I'll give you a perfect example. What's more entertaining? Steph Curry getting 30 or Zion getting 30?
Are we talking? Because that's, to me, that's apples and oranges. It's not apples to oranges, but it's like Zion getting 30. It's like if he just has a monster game and just is posterizing people all night.
I give you a different. I'll use Embiid. What's more entertaining? Steph Curry dropping 50 or Embiid dropping 50? Steph Curry dropping 50 or Kevin Durant dropping 50?
Okay, that's a better one because you can't ask me about Embiid because he's a Sixer and I'm biased. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. Kevin Durant getting 50 or Steph getting 50? Steph can get 50 by halftime.
Yeah, so but I'm for me, about entertainment though, like what I mean is
entertainment wise, yes, because we know Steph can pull up from the parking lot, as they say. So yes, Steph getting 50 would be more entertaining because just from where he shoots. But right. Kevin Durant,
it may be more efficient, it may be easier. But when Steph do it, it's fun to watch, right? Because he's gonna come down, he's gonna come off a screen, he's gonna shoot, he's gonna start shimmying, he's gonna start doing this with his mouthpiece, he's gonna do dumb dances, he's gonna shoot one and turn around and look off. And when Golden State start doing that, bro, they bench start waving towels and stupid stuff start happening. You know, ESPN top 10 is coming. Steph Curry was shooting it from what Ant-Man said, man, he shot that from Tajikistan. You know what I mean? Like, bro. It's fun to watch. There's nothing like watching Golden State play and Steph Curry releasing it. Bang! When you like that, Kevin, bro, listen. It's just entertaining to watch. When they went on their run, not only were they beating people, it was fun to watch. It's like Patrick Mahomes. Not only is he good, he's extremely exciting to watch. He throws sidearm passes. He runs. Like, it's one thing for a dude to go out and get 300 yards. It's another thing for a dude to get 300 yards, and he's embarrassing you while he's doing it. Like, he looks like he's having fun. He's throwing crazy passes. He's having, like, that's watching Golden State. That was Caitlin Clark. Not only is she going out getting 32 a game, bro, she going to shoot 7 threes, step backs in your face. Like, it was entertaining to watch. That's marketability. All we've talked about the women's game was it being a product on the floor that people wanted to see. Nobody wanted to see Caitlin Clark because she was white. They wanted to see her because she was talented and she was fun to watch. There have been plenty of white great players that didn't get this. Again, Elena Delle Donne was a bucket, bro. She was a bucket in college. Nobody cared.
But tell me that her being who she is did not play. That was not one of the factors considered.
Who?
Tell me, Caitlin Clark.
No,
Caitlin, okay.
Listen, you know who people. If 3 years ago, we didn't even know who she was, and she was putting up 26 a game in Iowa. Her freshman and sophomore year, she was getting 26, 27 a game, and we hadn't even heard of her. Right? Only a hardcore, really, really into women's college basketball would have heard of who she was. You know why? You know who the whole world wanted to be next, who everybody thought was going to be next, especially because of what she went? Paige Beckers was supposed to be what Caitlin Clark is.
Right, but she got injured. No, I know that.
Right?
But Paige is coming out this next year, 2025.
But since her injury, she's like, and then again, playing at UConn, right? You're not going to see players at UConn get to put up 30 a night because there's usually 3 other All-Americans playing with them, right? Caitlin Clark went to a school that wasn't known for basketball. She didn't go to Baylor, didn't go to South Carolina, didn't go to LSU, didn't go to Tennessee, not like that anymore, but Tennessee, even Stanford's women's basketball program, right? Like she didn't go to none of these places. She went to Iowa, which again, like I said, I had to look it up. They've won 30 games twice. Both years was with Caitlin Clark. They've never been known for basketball. They've made it past the first round in NCAA. Take away the Caitlin Clark years. I think they made it to the second round and the regionals twice, something like that. And I mean, the second round once and then the regionals once. The rest of the time they lost in the first round and didn't make it. Again, I liken it to when Steph Curry was at Davidson. Not only was he exciting to watch, you went, who is this boy from this school we never heard of? So what happened when Steph Curry went on his run in the tournament? One shining moment. Oh, we're going to big this up. This kid, who they thought was too small to be a 2 guard and don't have the ball skills to be a point guard, this tweener coming out of nowhere, putting up 30 a game. Okay, so he's doing it at this small school against these bums. But what's going to happen when he get in the tournament against North Carolina? They going to get that work too. What's going to happen against Georgetown? They going to get that work too. What's going to happen against Kent? They going to get that work too. Everybody got that work from him. And it became a thing like, yo, this kid from out of nowhere is doing this to you. Like, it was something to watch. It was something to now follow. This girl who chose to go to Iowa, stayed at hometown, stayed unknown program, can't nobody right now name 3 other players off Iowa. Ain't no All-Americans on that team. What business they got going to back-to-back national championships? The last person that I can recall that went to back-to-back national championships, that it was a story, and he didn't win either, was Chris Webber, right? Because he took a group of freshmen who, again, were hailed as the Fab Five because they had 5 of the highest, like it was one of the best recruiting classes ever. 5 top 50 guys went to the national championship game starting as freshmen and then repeated it as sophomores. So it was something that we never seen, right? She just went to back-to-back national championships with people you can't name. Again, man, look, A'ja Wilson's great.
And I get it.
She's one of many. It's plenty of people to deal with A'ja Wilson doing. I just gave you Breanna Stewart's resume in the last 6 years is just as good as A'ja Wilson's. She got 2 championships. She got 2 MVP.
But she ain't back-to-back. She ain't back-to-back, though.
Again, we nitpicking at this point.
No, I'm not nitpicking. I'm just saying.
A'ja Wilson right now has the crown. She's the best player in the WNBA, right? When has that ever mattered, E? When has that ever mattered?
Why are we not why was she not the marketable one? That's my question to you. Answer me that question then. Why was A'ja Wilson not marketable with everything that I listed that she had going on? And also, as you just said, she holds the crown. Why is she not marketable? Riddle me that one then.
For the same reasons nobody else before her was marketable. What are we talking about? The same.
But you just said Breanna Stewart couldn't be marketable. You just said Sabrina Ionescu, Candace Parker.
Well,
we can run the laundry list.
I know, backtrack. So if we can put Breanna Stewart in that mix, that completely eliminates the race factor. Breanna Stewart wasn't marketable when she was the best player. Elena Delle Donne won the MVP. She wasn't They weren't marketable enough to put the WNBA on the map, right? So that means that the skin thing is null and void. It's not because A'ja Wilson's black. It's go back. We call this full circle. The very first conversation me and you had was about the WNBA and pay, and it was all about the women's game. And then we had a few more conversations over the years where we talked about the women kind of screwed themselves with the collective bargaining agreement. We talked about that. We talked about the travel. We talked about some WNBA stuff over the years, right? But one of the conversations we did have was they haven't successfully taken one person and marketed them, right? And you know what's funny about that? At the time we had that conversation, let's say it was about a year ago. I don't remember the exact time frame. Me, you, Megan. Asia Wilson was the reigning MVP. But if you think about the conversation, who did we all say was probably the person they should market and try and force us to face? Sabrina Ionescu. At the time we had that conversation, that's who we was talking about. Not because she's white, because we was looking at the way she was playing. She was putting up them triple doubles, and she can shoot the ball from Tajika State, right? It's about being exciting and fun to watch. Who was winning in the 80s? Magic and Bird. But who came along and was the most popular player? Mike. Why? He had the flair to his game. He had his tongue out. Who got the biggest shoe deal? Mike. Not Larry Bird and Magic with them Converse. Not Isaiah Thomas when he won in 89 and 90. Markability ain't never been about winning. It's about selling tickets, selling jerseys. Your style of play. Now, we don't know what Caitlin Clark's going to be in the WNBA. Had another really rough game tonight, right? 2 for 8 or something like that. We know she's going to be. We know that in college, she got on the mat doing things that we'd never seen before in a way that we like #1 all-time leading scorer along with top 5 in assists is crazy work. 32 a game. And here's another thing. There have been many players in the history of this game. Just Michael Beasley, for instance, like led the nation in scoring and rebounding. A lot of people don't remember that. Don't matter if you ain't winning, like they empty numbers. She was putting up 32 a game and went to the national championship too. So every game that went on during that tournament became a bigger thing. It was who's going to knock her off, right? Then it was the revenge game. Last year, she lost in the national championship to LSU after beating South Carolina. This year, she beats LSU and loses to South Carolina. So in the last 2 years, the 2 national championships, she's 1-1 against both of them. Others may not see it that way because she lost on the big stage. One could argue she shouldn't have been there. Look at her team, right? She was phenomenal, man. She was phenomenal. Like, again, bro, markability ain't never been about your resume and winning, right? Why? So if markability, right, and I just gave the best example. If markability was about the color of your skin, with Larry Bird being what he was, why did Nike come along and put all their eggs in Michael Jordan's basket?
Because they were on their way out. They needed something. Mm-hmm. They needed something, and that something became Michael Jordan, Air Jordan.
Now, we are talking about basketball, right? It's the same game.
Sir. Yep.
You got women's basketball and men's basketball. Tell me 5 white players that got a signature NBA shoe right now. Tell me 5 white NBA players with a signature shoe.
Right now?
Right now.
Now, when you say white, are we talking European? Because I just, my...
Man, listen, even if we go European and I give you Luka and Joker, which I don't even know if Joker got a shoe, right? You still going to be hard-pressed to name 5 of them. If marketability was about the color of your skin, the NBA would be pushing Luka as the face right now, right? Ain't nobody tripping when Giannis is being pushed as one of the top. You see him on his Sprite commercials with his brother, right? I was just looking at NIL deals. You know who got the biggest NIL deal? Shadur Sanders, a young black man.
I think a lot of that has. I was gonna say, I think a lot of that has to do with who his daddy is.
His black daddy. His black daddy. They spending them green dollars on him and his black daddy. You know who got the second biggest NIL deal? Bronny James with his black daddy. Like, again, man, like I just think, again, there are times, Eric, and me and you are always willing to attack those conversations. There are plenty of times where race is a factor and we really have to address it, and we gotta be like, yo, this is a conversation need to be had. When we talk about every year around draft time, the conversation surrounding the black quarterback is his mental capacity to play the game. Right.
And we got what, 15 of them now? Almost half the league starting black quarterbacks.
When the best quarterback in the game is a black man.
Yeah.
When they was just in the Super Bowl with him and Jalen Hurts. When him, Jalen, Dak,
him and Lamar in the AFC Championship game.
Lamar, you got a rookie that just showed you, right?
CJ Stroud.
That we're very much. Okay. No, it's Brian. I literally got it pulled up right now. Can I share my screen?
Go ahead.
Let me see. Share screen. that one. Can you see that?
Got it.
Yeah, right here. Number 1, Shedeur Sanders. Number 2, Bronny James. I think Archie's 4th or 5th. Yeah, Archie's 4th, right? And that's another one who getting it because of his name. And you know what's crazy? Number 5 is Travis Hunter. Again, on the shoulders of Deion. The crazy thing is Bryce James in here somewhere too. Carson Beck.
Evan Stewart.
Here go a good one for you, E. And I know because I've looked at it. We on number 9. Who you think gonna be the first female to show up?
No, she was number 3.
Who?
They'll go back up. Number 3 was a female.
You're right. First women's basketball player. Let's do that. Who you think gonna be the first women's She's gymnastics. Who you think gonna be the first women's basketball player to show up?
I would say Angel Reese.
You would think it might be Angel Reese, right? Maybe Cardell. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Caitlin Clark, right? Who knows?
It would be one of those two. I would say either Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark.
I know these white folks ain't gave they green dollars to this black young girl. I know not.
Flau'jae Johnson, yes.
So
yes.
again, man. Back to in all seriousness, I'm always willing to have uncomfortable conversations when they're necessary. I just think this isn't one of those times. And again, in some of the comments that I have engaged in, it's like y'all acting like they giving to this pub to somebody who averages 17 a game or something like that. You know what I mean? Like y'all acting like they just picked a white girl with a pretty face that was okay at basketball, like Paige Beckers with what she was doing at UConn, what they expected her to do versus what she was actually doing, right? Had she been getting the kind of publicity that Caitlin Clark was getting, you'd be like, yo, what's that about? But with what Caitlin Clark was doing, it was warranted, right? Anytime somebody shocks the world and then continues to shock the world, where it's like, can they continue doing that? She's been doing this since the beginning of last season, right? She put the world on notice and ain't stopped since, man. She's going out to the point where you expect her to drop 35 and you expect her to hit 7 threes and you expect her to shoot a shot that you went, yo, that's crazy. Like when they played LSU, man, I'm watching the game, but I'm watching Facebook posts. And people was going crazy because she was doing things that you're not used to seeing. Again, Steph Curry is probably the best analogy where you're watching him play and it's like, yo, he really shot that? Yeah, it really went in too. Then he did it again. And now he's shooting logo shots. Or when Dame Lillard gets hot and he starts shooting logo shots, like that's the kind of stuff that as fans you go, man. Again, go all the way back to the 80s. When Mike started doing what he was doing, it was something we'd never seen before until him. Even the high flyers that played above the rim before him, the David Thompsons, the Julius Ervings, right? Even to his credit in college, Len Bias and Hank Gathers, guys like that people saw play above the rim. You never saw anybody do it with the swag and the flair that Mike was doing it with. Mike came through with the big hands and the tongue out, and you know what I mean, he was a whole different type of animal. And the NBA, what did they do? They said, "Oh, that's the cash cow right there. That's the guy. We're gonna market him." You know, you hear guys like Charles Barkley talk about even Isaiah Thomas says, man, we're thankful because before Michael Jordan, there were no big shoe deals. We was all everybody's wearing those Converse. Mike comes along. Now you get to the 90s, everybody got shoes. The foam posits, penny shoes are still hits to this day. The CB34, Scottie Pippen shoes, Grant Hill with the feelers. Everybody had shoes in the 90s. And then Akeem came out. It doesn't cost a fortune to chase a dream with them $34 Payless shoes. But
hey, well, hold on now. Don't forget Patrick Ewing. He had his.
Bro, I still listen. And true story. 5th grade, made the basketball team, and they gave me number 33. Went out and bought some Ewings. Like went out and brought some Ewings and was balling in the Ewings just because my number was 33, right? But again, man, like that's what marketability is about. When Usain Bolt took the world by storm in track and field. Think about this. When the last time, I guess you can say Sha'Carri, right?
Right.
But that was a weird thing because it was like some people was waiting on her to fail. But when Usain Bolt was at the top of his game, right? You seen this dude in commercials. Every Olympic promotion was about him. Why? Because he had a flair for being dramatic. He would run races and slow down at the end and just start pointing at the camera. Like, he had a flair. So he's dominant and he's entertaining, right? this is the last person I'll compare Caitlin Clark to. She has the Floyd Mayweather effect. She's now created an image for herself that half the people love her and half the people hate her. You know why Floyd got like 4 of the top 5 highest viewed fights of all time?
Because everybody wanted to see him get knocked out.
One of the two. Either you loved him and you tuned in to see him be great, or you was like, I hope somebody teach him a lesson. I want to see somebody put him in his place. That's why everybody that Floyd fought, that now people go, oh, that person was nobody. Go back and listen to how they talked about those people leading up to the fight. Go listen to how they talked about De La Hoya's experience and his ring presence and his veteran savvy was going to be a problem for Floyd. And then when he beat him, it was, oh, he was old. Go listen to how they talked about Ricky Hatton, and Floyd's never seen anybody that can match his speed and his power and that can move around the ring and his dip. Ricky Hatton was undefeated. Floyd beat him. Now everybody says he's a nobody. Canelo Alvarez, he's young, he's fast, he's strong. Nice. Oh, he fought him when he wasn't ready yet. Everybody that leading up to Floyd fight, they tried to promote them as if this was going to be a big test. Why? Because people are going to tune in and see, can this person really take out the champ? That's who Caitlin is now.
I'll tell you right now, we all, with regards to Floyd, we all fell for, and I'm just guilty of the fact, when him and Pacquiao finally fought, we all fell for it. And that was a year after it should have happened. But yet we still all paid however much it was to watch that fight. So I understand where you're coming from with okay, so I get that. But I'm still holding my ground here with a woman who is being herself. And again, I'll go back to, we always said it's 144 women. Now, yes, over the next 2 years, 2 more teams are going to be added. So there are going to be more women playing in the W. But I say A'ja Wilson is entertaining, and I still say she's marketable. But it's going back to, great. You want to say Breonna Stewart, why, Breonna Stewart, or even Taurasi or Paige Beckers, who hasn't been in the W yet. I get that point. But when you've got someone who is a consummate professional, who has shown you that she can and is, not can, but is on the level of the greats that we are talking about, such as a Tiger Woods, such as a Patrick Mahomes, such as a Michael Jordan. And as you said, and I agree, right now currently holds the crown.
Yeah, but
why are people not? Why are businesses not making that investment into her? That's what I want to know.
The same reason they didn't invest in Kawhi Leonard and Tim Duncan. They're boring. Right? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, because again, marketability.
A'ja's not boring. Have you seen?
Yeah, but you said her game, right? Like she's a great. Like, first off, the women's game itself, for somebody who's not a hardcore fan, right, can be a difficult watch for some people. It's not as fast as the men's game. It's not as exciting. They're not as athletic. You're not gonna see dunks, right? You got to be a real hardcore fan of basketball to appreciate women's basketball, right? And I appreciate women's basketball. So A'ja Wilson's game, right? It's not exciting to the casual fan. You got to remember, we're talking about sports. To be marketable, you got to be marketable to the casual fan. Hardcore fans gonna do what they do regardless. You have to market yourselves to the casual fans. The person who don't have nothing to do on the Thursday, Friday night gonna tune in and watch. Why are they gonna tune in and watch? Not because A'ja Wilson is really talented. No, like, they need something fun to watch. Caitlin Clark was fun to watch. And again, this is all based off her college resume. That's why, like, when people keep saying what A'ja Wilson's done in the pros, this is all based off what Caitlin Clark did in college. We can all agree. Nobody has to agree with me. The facts are the facts. Women's college basketball has been more popular than the NBA, WNBA game for years. For years. Come March Madness, we watching South Carolina. We watching UConn. We watching LSU. We watching Baylor, right? I would guarantee you the women's but even before Caitlin Clark, the women's college Final Fours, the ratings are better than the WNBA finals. I'd be willing to bet it, right?
Wow. I might take that bet with you.
Listen,
man.
Like, But put like this, because again, you're a hardcore guy, right? Like you done been down to Chicago.
Separating myself from that.
All right, I guarantee you take away Becky Hammon, right? You take away Becky Hammon. I guarantee you, more casual fans know who Kim Mulkey is. They know who Gina Oriami is. They know who Dawn Staley is. Like they know who Pat Summitt was, right? They know who these people are. Take away Becky Hammon. They don't know who coaching no WNBA teams.
I mean,
women's college basketball is more for starters. When they play, they come play in the summer on the back end of the NBA Finals. They play 30 games, right?
Now it's 40.
Okay, but there are a lot of reasons why the WNBA isn't as popular, right? That's the conversation we had last time, right?
Yeah.
The facts are the facts. It's just not as popular as a lot of other sports, right? So here comes this young lady who got the whole world watching. Iowa. Again, like I say, it's like Steph Curry. Everybody's watching Davidson. They're not watching Duke. They're not watching North Carolina. They're watching Davidson. Now the women's NCAA tournament comes along, and we're not thinking about UConn. We're not thinking about South Carolina, the reigning champs. Not thinking about LSU. No, LSU's the reigning champs. Not thinking about South Carolina, who's been on the tear the past few years. Everybody wondering, what is Iowa going to do? Little bitty old Iowa. She had all eyes locked in on her. So if I'm sitting back and I'm a billionaire and I can throw some money at something, I go, bro, this little girl from Iowa just made the whole world watch Iowa. And they expected her to make the whole world watch the Indiana Fever, which is why they had to move those games to different areas. Ain't because she white, man. There's been plenty of white players come before her. Plenty of white players playing this year. Ain't because she white. It's because she good and entertaining. And no, she's not. She's great. She was historically great
in college.
And we talk about marketability. That's all she's ever done.
No, and I understand.
You know what?
And again,
hold on. But before she broke the record, right? Kelsey Plum had the record. Did Kelsey Plum get this much hype? Nope. She's a big. She wasn't that exciting to watch. She put up her 30 a game, but it wasn't this fun. It wasn't this fun to watch, man. It just wasn't. Somebody gonna go out and get me 30 points and 8 dimes a night. Her vision crazy. Like, she's fun to watch, man. That's what it's all about. Michael Jordan in the 80s. Yeah, Bird and Magic, they got the crown. They winning. But this guy here, he's fun to watch. We're going to market him. LeBron was being marketed before he ever won. Right? LeBron, like Dwight Howard talks about on the interview how he was pissed off that they did the commercial with Kobe and LeBron, right? With the Muppets, because they thought they was going to meet in the finals. And LeBron hadn't won anything. Penny Hardaway with the shoes, like he was exciting to watch. That's a good one. Because some NBA players talking about that. You know, that's why they came up with the character Little Penny with Chris Rock. Because Penny wasn't comfortable in front of cameras. He wasn't funny. His personality wasn't great. So they gave him a personality. They made a character to give him a personality because his game was entertaining and fun to watch, and they wanted to market that guy. It's all about being entertaining, man. Who gonna put butts in seats? Who gonna put butts in seats? That's really what it's all about. Tim Duncan won 50 games every year in his career. Nobody cared to watch him. Nobody cared to watch him. Tim Duncan's great. Tim Duncan got the top 5 all-time resume. He got 5 NBA championships, 2 MVPs, 3 finals MVPs, most all defenses, 12, 13, 14-time all-NBA, multi-time all-star, and won 50 games every year he played. And nobody cares because he's Tim Duncan and he's fundamentally sound. There are people.
I mean, he's done some commercials. I know he was in one commercial that I remember.
Now, perfect example. Who's more marketable, Kevin Garnett or Tim Duncan?
The KG.
Right. But you're telling me, you giving me Asia Wilson's resume. KG ain't got none of that on his resume. He ain't got no 5 championships. He ain't got no 3 finals MVPs. He ain't got none, actually. He ain't win 50 games every year. He was in Minnesota 12 years and got out the first round 1 time. But he's more marketable. Why? Because when he dunk and he yell in your face and he talks stuff and he right? He's fun to watch. He a loser, but he's fun. Fun to watch. That's what marketability is about.
I wouldn't necessarily call KG a loser. He's
a loser. No, he's a loser. He was in Minnesota for 12 years. I don't want to get talked about KG. I just know he's in Minnesota 12 years and made it out the first round 1 time. He's a loser. But he was marketable.
He does have a ring, though.
Tracy McGrady. Adidas threw him a deal.
No.
Adidas threw him a deal. Vince Carter is getting his number retired by New Jersey. Meanwhile, Jason Kidd ain't. Vince Carter's getting his number retired. Why? He was entertaining to watch. Whole career lackluster.
And he made the dunk, and he made us watch the dunk contest. No, listen. I see your point. I'm just not. I still feel as though this young woman, again, 27-year-old out of Columbia, I think she is that person that people, you look at what she's done, and I feel she is entertaining to watch. I feel she is someone who is marketable. I
never said she wasn't marketable or entertaining.
I don't know. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
But the fans told us that. She just won 2 championships and 2 MVPs, and nobody wanted to go see her.
They sold out. This season, before the season started, the Las Vegas Aces sold out their entire season.
Let me ask you a question.
Before the draft, before Caitlin was ever drafted number 1, all of that, the Las Vegas Aces, have you seen the drone footage of their practice facility and their locker rooms and everything?
Mm-hmm.
If you get a chance, I know you have, but I mean, for anybody who hasn't, go take a look at it. The investment is there. So I'm saying to you, if you make that type of call to refurnish and put all these amenities, and as we like to say, them complementary pieces around a back-to-back WNBA champion, then how is the player, the person who is the floor general, how is she not marketable? We've seen her on social media. Why? Because she's not out there on, I mean, she's even said this in interviews. She stays off of social media. So we don't know Asia's personal life like that. The book is pretty much open on Caitlin Clark. She's always doing her social media. She is, yes, she brings the entertainment value. But I'm just saying, as someone with an Asia Wilson resume in the 6 years that she's been, because she's in her 6th season now with the W, all of her accolades, how are we not looking at that and saying we can market her?
I don't know. Probably the same way you look at somebody who's a 1, 2, 3-time MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, all WNBA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times, and a 2-time WNBA champ, and they couldn't market Lisa Leslie. What make Asia Wilson so special? Lisa Leslie, and you and I, this is the one thing I will say that I do agree with you on. Lisa Leslie is a pioneer. Mm-hmm.
She came at a time when it was in its infancy. And so we knew it was going to take a moment for the organization, for the game of women's professional basketball to make a mark. You know what I'm saying? To be consistent, to prove that it is here to stay. So for the Lisa Leslies and the Cheryl Swoops and the Cynthia Coopers and the Rebecca Lobos and the rest, for them, it was about creating the bar and setting the standard.
I'll give you one more, E, because here's another factor that nobody's talking about. All I've been saying is she's talented. She's exciting to watch, right? But another fact, which this ties into the talented and exciting. Who was the second best NBA player in the 90s? Overall, course of the decade.
Jordan won.
Mm-hmm. And I think it would be unanimous across the board with most people who was undoubtedly the second best player of the 90s.
Ugh.
MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, 2 Finals MVPs, 2 championships, most skilled all time. Nah, ain't Shaq. Not in the 90s.
No.
I gave you the answer with 2 NBA championships and 2 Finals MVPs in 94 and 95.
Oh,
right?
Hakeem Olajuwon. Yeah. Which the Knicks should have had the one in 94, but that's another conversation for another time.
Most would agree. I would think that people say he's the most skilled big to ever play the game.
Yes.
And again, in the 90s, when Mike took his hiatus, he was the best player in the league. And then when Mike came back, like Hakeem's resume speaks for itself, right? I just talked about it. Scottie Pippen had Nike shoes. Charles Barkley had Nike shoes. Anthony Hardaway had Lil Penny. Shaq had the Reebok pumps. Fila came along and snatched up Grant Hill. List goes on. Hakeem Olajuwon had to go to Spalding. You know why? Big men, based on how the game of basketball is played, they've never been exciting to watch. They're not exciting, man. Like, it's not exciting.
How are big men not exciting?
Bro, we talking about exciting. I ain't talking about talented. I'm not talking about, again, man.
Just give me the ball. Let me slam one in there. I mean, come on now.
Facts is the facts. Penny got a shoe deal, not Hakeem Olajuwon, right? And you got to think, Shaq was a different breed of big man. That what you talking about? Shaq and young Shaq was coast to coast with it, right?
Yeah.
But Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, I'd like to again, you have to market to the casual fans. Sports fans go, man, that dude is good. Look at his footwork, bro. Casual fans don't want to see footwork. They want to see the handle. They want to see the handle. They want to see.
They want to see the crossover. They want to
see God, Sham God, right? Like, they want to see. That's why And One became so popular. It was fun and exciting to watch. That people want to see people that can handle the rock. People want to see with range, pretty jump shot, the fadeaway, like the swag to their game, like Mike and Kobe had, right? That's why fans, like, LeBron's game has never been aesthetically pleasing to fans, right? It's never been pretty to watch, right?
Except when he has a fast break, then it's like,
it's crazy. But even like his form didn't look as good as Kobe's and Mike's, right? Like his walk, he don't look like a cool basketball player, right? Like Kobe and Mike had like that thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had that swag, right? Tim Hardaway coming down on the break, UTEP too, like that kind of stuff is fun and exciting to watch. Same thing with Caitlin Clark, man. She's a guard. She got handles. She's shooting threes. She throwing no-look passes. A'ja Wilson, you just give it to her on the block. Like, even, man, I was watching Angel Reese, and I was like, her game isn't fun to watch. It's not fun to watch. Aaliyah Boston's not fun to watch, right?
Oh, did you see tonight though? Leah Boston and Jonquel Jones they came this close. I was like, oh, it's fitting. Okay.
But again, and you know what's crazy? That's why when Candace Parker came along, it was different. It was different, right? That's why when Maya Moore came along, it was different. That's why she got a Jordan shoe,
right?
Because she was exciting and fun to watch. Maya Moore was Juju before Juju. Maya Moore was the one that you like, yo, she hooped like a dude, yo. She handled that thing. She got mid-range pull-up, the hezzy, the turn. She had it all. Shamika Holtzclaw before her, right? They had that thing that it was like, yo, they're actually fun to watch. Bigs in women's basketball, big in basketball, period. It's just like, whatever, right? But in the women's game, right, where everything is fundamentally sound, like, you have to have flair to your game and pizzazz, something to make people go, wow. That's what marketability is, man. It ain't about like, oh, I got 2 MVPs. Why they not marketing me? Because you ain't fun to watch.
But that is. I'm glad you brought that up. But this goes to your point, and I can say this because I saw it firsthand. You ever seen? And she doesn't play anymore. But did you ever see in watching Allie Quigley do her Euro step?
Mm-hmm.
Dog, to see that courtside, the whole arena at Wintrust just stopped.
I went crazy, right? Like, again, in women's basketball, that's why Juju is so special now.
Right.
Her and I can't never say the chick thing right. The chick in Notre Dame. Ooh. Like,
it's only a matter of time. So fine. Let me end it with this then. And as always, I appreciate you more than you will ever know, because this is what I love when it comes to you and I having these conversations, because just like myself, you are never afraid to get real with it and just say, this is my truth, whether you like it or not, here it is. And I appreciate that. What I hope, and this is what I said after the women's national championship game, when we knew Caitlin was going number one. This ride that the WNBA is on, that ESPN and all these other media outlets are on, I want this ride to continue, because going back to our very first conversation, October 6th of 2021, the very first time the Sports Reporter Without Paying Myself ever got on camera together to have this type of conversation, I said then, as I say now, these women, these athletes are in a position now. They didn't have to wait till 2040, like you said, Ray. They did it in 3 years because of Caitlin Clark. I want this momentum to carry on now. I want, when Paige Beckers comes out next year, I want there to be this level of excitement. And then 2 years after that, when Juju comes out, I want this level of excitement to be there, because what we now have is a moment that needs to, as most businesses and organizations and people are doing, they are hitching their wagon to it and saying, okay, we're going to run with this, but I want this to run and not stop.
But hold on, because you said something in your little promo video that I was like, I don't know. Because you played it when I said, I likened it to Martin Luther King, the fight that he was fighting. And it's like, sometimes when you're in the trenches, you don't see the results, right? Like right. What Martin Luther King fought for and stood for, the results are more prevalent today than they were when he was living, to get to actually see the results of the work he was putting in. And I said, the WNBA players, it's like you're laying the foundation, even the NBA, right? Like the guys who played in the 50s and 60s, right, did things and laid the groundwork for what we see today. They didn't get to reap all the benefits, but they laid the groundwork for it. I think I think it was Oscar Robertson. That was the first person. It was something to do with free agency, right? Like now, these jokers getting their money every which way. When I said the women today are laying the groundwork for what we may see 40 years from now, I don't know if I would turn around and say that from that conversation we had in 2021, we're there yet, right? Crazy enough, it's a lot of pressure on Caitlin Clark, because if she don't pan out the way that they're expected, they not hitching their wagon to the WNBA. They hitching their wagon to Caitlin Clark, right? The funny thing is, these women who coming out talking crazy about her or her debt of gratitude, they should shut the hell up and get on board. What they should do, right? If people are paying to see her play, they also paying to see you play. More butts in the seats is more money to the league. More jersey sales is more money to the league. More money to the league is more salary for you. Like, get with it. Same thing like I said, in the 80s, the league went, yep, that's the guy. We all following that. They hitching their wagon to Michael Jordan. We just going to ride on behind this wagon, right? Like, if Caitlin Clark doesn't turn out to be a star, then none of this means anything, right? She has to be good. She has to be really good, actually. So I don't know if I would say we're there yet, because at this point, they're riding the Caitlin Clark wave on the high of what she did in college, right? Which is a lot of people's argument that she ain't even played yet. Well, yeah, they basing off what they seen her do in college, right? That's why people get drafted number one and their games get televised and high school games get televised, because we want to see them, right? People want to see her right now. Again, it's a half and half thing, the Floyd Mayweather effect. Half of them want to see her be great. Half of them want to see her fail. Her first preseason game, people was posting about it, right? People was posting about it. Hey, Joey, first off, Eric, you know I bowl, right? That's a cold, that's my teammate. That's a cold dude right there, boy. I'm trying to tell you, that's a bad man. Shout out to
wait, is this the guy that bowled? I know you videotaped the guy that bowled the 300. Was that him?
Yes. Yeah, that's him. A couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's him.
So personal shout out. Joey, I've never met you, but Ray will tell you I am an avid bowler. I still have to. I will say, Ray, you are the only man in the world of bowling that I fear. I fear no man, woman, or child except you. And you and I have never rolled once together, but I've seen how you throw that ball, so I am nervous. So if you tell me this is a cold brother right here, much respect to him.
Let's just liken it to basketball, right? If you think I'm decent bowling, if I'm Jamal Crawford, he's Michael Jordan.
Don't put yourself that low.
No, I'm talking about the gap between how good I am and how good he is. Like, Joey is phenomenal, man. He's like, I'm a 200 average bowler. I'm an in between 195 to 205 guy. Joey finished this season at 235. Joey's like he like that, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Like he's phenomenal, man. A shout out to my guy, the other comment, Dustin. He shot an 800, man, not too long ago. He used to bowl me too. But anyway, man, I was saying to him, Joey, I was talking about Tiger Woods earlier about his popularity, and that's kind of how sports work. Tiger Woods had that same type of popularity where it was about him. He was becoming bigger than the game. Serena Williams did the same thing for women's tennis. Roger Federer for men's tennis. Again, when we was talking about baseball, when they was chasing that home run record, man, baseball was as big as it's ever been. And when Barry Bonds was chasing it, again, people was tuning in even though they hated him because he was making history. Just how it works. Again, I'm gonna share my screen again. I didn't realize it was this crazy when I said it, but I'm gonna show you how unbelievable this is, especially considering how many people hate this man, right? This right here is the 10 most watched pay-per-views all time, right? Pacquiao versus Marquez at 10. Floyd Mayweather sitting at number 9 versus Cotto, right? Tyson and McNeely, that's when Tyson came back out of prison. Tyson versus Holyfield, finally. Lennox Lewis versus Tyson. And Tyson versus Holyfield too, right? You want to know why I stopped at number 5? Because the top 4 all got something in common. 4th highest viewed fight ever, Mayweather versus Canelo. 3, Mayweather versus De La Hoya. 2, Mayweather versus a freaking UFC fighter and Conor McGregor. And then 1, Mayweather versus Pacquiao. When you build up that, again, when you build up that type of popularity where half the world, you're an enigma. Like half the people love you, half the people hate you. No matter what people said about Floyd Mayweather, they tuned in and watched. And that's where Caitlin Clark is now, man. It's a lot of people that want her to fail. There's a lot of people that want her to fail. And again, man, because when you go back to, and I think this kind of extends from the whole her and Angel Reese thing, right? It became that just the way America works. It became a race thing. You got the quiet, the young, quiet, if you will, white girl. And then you got Angel Reese, who's brash, and she, but when you watch Caitlin Clark play, ain't nothing quiet about her, right? But Angel Reese had that loud, brash. She was like that, right? And to a certain demographic, that's off-putting, especially when you do it to their person, right? So then America became divided over women's basketball, right? And it's like now this is an extension of that. Everybody's riding the wave of Caitlin Clark, the white girl. Man, forget Caitlin Clark, the white girl. Caitlin Clark, the basketball player, is phenomenal, or was phenomenal in college, and they're just hoping it can carry on. And again, man, I honestly think we do ourselves a disservice, man, when we die on that hill on situations that it ain't. You know what I mean? Like right now, somebody go, Joker's only winning MVPs because he's white. No, he winning MVPs because he's almost averaging a triple-double and his team winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why he's winning MVPs. And MVPs, they hurt.
I will say this to you. We do, and this is a conversation for a completely another time, we do hold men and women to different standards. We do. That's just how the world works. We don't have to like it, but that is how it is. We hold men and women to different standards. So when we talk about a Jokic or a Jordan or a Tiger or a Federer or someone like that, we put them on one level. But then when we look at a Serena or a Megan Rapinoe, Caitlin Clark, Candace Parker, Diana Taurasi, it's not on the same level. And I'm speaking strictly athletic for this, but it can cross over into business. It can cross over into a multitude of different arenas, but we do. I am thankful that the game of women's basketball on the college level and the professional level is getting eyeballs. I just want it to continue. And you're right. We may not be to where 2040, where I hope 2040 is, but at the very least, we are seeing it grow in popularity. I just want the growth to be exponential. That's what I want. Because I think that to me is the difference maker, the equity piece, the investment piece, let's keep having these conversations, because we can't talk about equality. We can't talk about inclusion and still have that separation. That's where when I see stuff like this happen or come up or things go down and I'm just like, I can't just sit around and say nothing, because you know me. I'll talk about anything, but it's got to be something of true significance for me and for you to be like, no, we gonna have this conversation. We gonna sit here, we gonna talk about it. At the end of the day, we may agree to disagree, but damn it, we're gonna have those conversations, because those conversations that are not being had that need to be had. And that, more than anything for me, is why I do what I do and why this platform exists. We can sit and talk football, basketball, baseball, hockey, golf, tennis, hell, whenever y'all want to talk bowling, and y'all can keep educating me on stuff, let's do it. Because listen, my game right now is not where I want it to be, and I need to work on it. And but my thing is, and I've always said this, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but my bowling game, I just need to be around people who are better than me so I can bring myself up. Because when I go and play with other people who I know I can beat, I don't put the discipline into it. I just need to pack my ball and come to North Kakalaki and come bowling with y'all for a couple weeks and get my mind right. Because I'm telling you, I will roll 5-6 games in a day and not blink. But I'm thankful for these conversations, because it makes me better. But more importantly, it just has, like we started this, having those uncomfortable conversations, I think, is what's going to eventually, hopefully, make us all comfortable. I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm with you, man. Like I you know, like we said, we live by that adage, man. I'm not a hard man to find, and I just want y'all to know. I have to tell everybody this, right? Again, shout out to Eric. That's his methodology coming through me when I told people, man, look, I'm not going to argue with you in these comments. We can make some content out of this. You know what I'm saying? We can go live. People can get in the comments and see us do our thing. And not for nothing, I believe I'm the best in the world. I believe it's hard for people to sit across from me and talk, right? You better come with it type thing. So it's like, bro, I'm not about to sit on this keyboard and you trolling me, whatever. So I say this can go live. I made that comment unbeknownst to me that Eric saw the comment. I just want y'all to know the conversation went like this. Hello, name the time and the place. That's what he said to me. He didn't say hello. He didn't say how you doing. He said, name the time and the place. And I knew what he was talking about. That, I swear to God, on my right hand of God, like that's how it went. My phone rung. I said, hello. And he said, name the time and the place. You tell me, dog. I'm down, whatever. I said, let's do it tomorrow night. This was last night. I said, let's do it tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. Bet. And that was the conversation. All right, brother, I'll see you tomorrow. And we hung up. Like, we didn't even say what it was about, because I knew what it was about based on my comment. He just said, name the time and the place. All right, hey, let's do it, man. So shout out to him, man. That brother right there, man. This not for nothing, man. For this particular forum, this not what it was for. But that brother right there, man, done opened some doors for me that may not have otherwise opened for me, like the ESPN symposium, the Super Bowl. If y'all seen me out covering the Super Bowl, that was his.
Where he dropped on the 3-point conversion, Kevin Durant coming to Phoenix. Y'all,
I did.
Y'all, let me just, and again, I always give this man his flowers because of who he is and what he has done. But the fact that we were sitting in Arizona, and again, shout out to Raphael Hines and 3-point conversion. Ray was sitting there with them. And because we do a segment on here called Who Knew I Knew. And Ray just in Arizona said Kevin Durant to Phoenix. And it happened. And I said,
the next day, like the very next day.
Be damn.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And again, watching him, listening to him on Battlegrounds, working with him over the last 3 years, and just seeing who he is and what he's done. And again, Ray does so much that y'all don't even know about. Like, we talk about bowling because that is like a love that we both share. But he's a family man. You know, he has his fraternity. the fact that he still finds time to do this is just I'm ever so grateful, and not just to him, to Megan, to Mike, to John, to the big guard, to Ty, for keeping this thing going. But I just know that when Ray come on the show, I let everybody know, don't come here with no foolishness, because you will get destroyed. And I'm just gonna sit back and be like, yep, I told y'all, I tried to tell you, but you don't want to listen. I tried to warn y'all. And I still to this day say to all the networks out there, the major networks out there, the ESPNs, the Foxes, the FS1s, all of them out there, y'all truly do not know greatness until this man walks in the room. Because I have sat across from him like we do now, and I've done it in Atlanta. His energy, who he is, what he talks about, I've sat in between him and other people talk and debate about anything. When it comes to sports, especially when it comes to basketball, I'm telling you right now, when it comes to the world of the NBA, I look at it like this, and this is not to blow smoke. This is exactly how I feel. There is Michael Wilbon, there is Stephen A. Smith, and there is Ray Lynn. Those three men, when it comes to the world of professional basketball, I will shut up and listen. And rest in peace to the great late John Saunders, because he is always going to be my top. But I'm telling you right now, when it comes to them three, if you think you know the game of basketball, sit down with him. Sit down with this man right here and talk to him. Because I'll tell you what, guaranteed you will learn something. Every time. Every time. We can go back. I mean, and don't get him started on his Detroit Lions, because that's just a whole nother conversation y'all don't want to have. Just gonna let y'all know. Don't do it.
Not for nothing. You talking about me calling Kevin Durant to Phoenix. What you should tell people happened at Super Bowl was I came running. I say, Eric, come here. You say what? I say, Brian Dawkins is right there. I said, Brian Dawkins is right there. He just went in that hallway, bro. I just dapped him up and took a picture with him, man. Brian Dawkins is right there, bro. Where? He just went in that thing. We ain't supposed to go in there, bro, but just go anyway.
Oh,
that was great.
One of the proudest moments ever of my life. And yes, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, a black man broke down and cried in front of his hero.
I wasn't gonna tell everybody that.
No, I'll tell it. I don't care.
Darnell, set it up, bro. We can do we can do some post NBA stuff, man. Ball Don't Lie probably need to make his return, man. I've just been so busy, but yeah. Shout out to everybody, man. Darnell in the comments, the playmaker. He be putting out some dope content too. He write a lot of stuff too. Yeah, man.
He's gonna be in New Orleans. He's gonna be in New Orleans in February along with us. I already told him, because he's not that far. I already told him. I said, bro, you're gonna be in New Orleans. Oh, and shameless plug, the Sports Arena will be at the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles. I can't make it to France this year, but trust me, if I could, we'd be there. But yeah, man, it's just so much. Again, thank you, as always, for rocking with me, rocking with the Sports Arena. So much stuff is fitting to go down that I know we can't talk about right now, but it is always a blessing. I'm glad you got to go to the draft in your home state and be there in Detroit. Again, I know that was a beautiful thing.
The doing of Eric Wilson.
Nah, that's not me. That's just an opportunity that.
What do you mean it's not you? You literally put in the paperwork and got me credentials for the Giants.
Yeah,
like you did it.
But again, that's.
I mean, hey, listen, hey, when people give you your flowers, accept them. Shut the hell up and go on about your business.
Fine.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, my best to you, Ray, to the entire Lynn family. When you see Big Guard and Avery, let them know that I'm on the way, because a cookout need to happen. And I'm gonna have to pick up Darnell on the way so we can all hang out, because there's just not enough time in the day, but we make time for each other. And that's the important piece of it. So much love to everybody. Your man, Eric Wilson, the sports reporter without pay, my man, Ray Lynn. We will holler at y'all. Everybody stay blessed.
Peace.